Now to the rest in the Gilgo Beach murders. Police finally took a suspect into custody. His name, Rex Heuerman, a longtime resident of Massapequa Park, Long Island. It all started back in 2010 when authorities started searching for a missing woman. Months later, they found 4 bodies on Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach. Fast forward to January of last year when a new team was put in place to crack this case. Their big break came in March of last year when they found a car linked to the suspect. And more than a year later, authorities put Heuerman into handcuffs. We have team coverage of this story. Dick Brennan has more on who the suspect is. Naveen Dhaliwal spoke with loved ones of the victims. Let's begin tonight with Carolyn Gusoff with the very latest on the investigation and today's arrest. Carolyn.
Christine, it is a case that has haunted the public for more than 13 years, and many feared that the Gilgo Beach murders may never be solved. But today, a Massapequa Park man stood before a judge charged as a serial killer. Rex Heuerman, a husband, a father, an architect, was, according to prosecutors, killing sex workers while his wife and kids were out of town.
Rex Heuerman is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families.
An arrest more than a decade in the making in a serial killer case that's baffled law enforcement and the public. 59-year-old Rex Heuerman, a hulking man, pled not guilty to 3 of the killings. Prosecutors say evidence allegedly links him to the murders of Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthelemy, and Amber Costello, who went missing from 2007 to 2010. He's also a prime suspect in the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes.
They were found in December of 2010 by the Suffolk County Police Department, and then there was nothing, absolutely nothing. For the next 13 years, their cases went unsolved until today.
All sex workers, all petite, all bound in burlap bags, known as the Gilgo 4 for their similarities. Prosecutors say the break came when a new witness identified a car that a victim was last seen entering, the same car type Heuerman owns. Victims' cell phone records pinged in the Massapequa area, as did burner phones prosecutors say Heuerman used to meet up with victims and later to taunt their survivors. And he allegedly obsessively searched the internet for Gilgo murder updates.
Not only pictures of the victims, pictures of their relatives, their sisters, their children, and he was trying to locate those individuals.
His court-appointed attorney.
The only thing I can tell you that he did say as he was in tears was, "I didn't do this."
Massapequa Park neighbors woke up to the unimaginable, the hunt for a serial killer ending here in a house where Heuerman grew up.
It's a shocker.
Crazy. It's mind-blowing.
The guy's been quiet, never really bothers anybody.
Officials say after months of trailing him, it was DNA collected from a pizza slice he tossed in a Manhattan trash can that came back as a match with hair found on the victims, excluding more than 99% of the population. It was the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert in 2010 that led to the gruesome discovery of the remains of 10 victims along a desolate stretch of Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach. In all, the remains of 8 women, a man, and a toddler. 6 of those cases still unsolved.
The work is not done here, but this is a major step forward.
Heuerman is being held without bail. The DA said today that the investigation was continuing. Evidence continued to come in, but because Heuerman continued to use burner phones and to patronize sex workers, they determined that in the interest of public safety, it was time to strike, time to take him off the street. Reporting live from Massapequa Park, Long Island, Carolyn Gusoff, CBS 2 News.
Carolyn, over a decade of mystery, over a decade of investigating, what was it about this last year or two that prompted so much flurry of activity in this case?
Well, new blood came into the Suffolk Police Department, a new police commissioner, Rodney Harrison, a new district attorney, Ray Tierney. They created a task force, and they really started from scratch. They just took the investigation from the beginning, data mining, and using new technology. DNA technology has changed in 10 years, and so has cell phone record technology. So all of that, in the end, made a difference.
Carolyn, Gusoff, thank you. This arrest, as you can imagine, sent shockwaves through a quiet Long Island neighborhood as police swarmed the suspect's home. CBS 2's Dick Brennan live in Massapequa Park with reaction from his stunned neighbors. Dick?
Well, Christine, even at this late hour, police officers, troopers are here at the house still gathering evidence along with a crowd of onlookers, many that have been here all day long, having a kind of fascination and fear of what happened here. And now following the story their whole lives only to see it literally unravel right in their backyards. Into the night, people in Massapequa Park did their best to get a glimpse of the home of the suspected serial killer living right in their midst.
It's creepy, really. I mean, if you look at the house, I mean, he kind of stands out, but it's creepy. It's weird.
It's a quiet town. Everyone knows each other. Nothing really goes on. So it was just surprising to hear and kind of scary.
I was like, holy crap. Unbelievable right in our town.
James Pagano couldn't believe when he heard the name of the suspect because he went to high school with Rex Heuerman.
He was very quiet, dark, kept to himself, and extremely intelligent, very smart.
So just who is Rex Heuerman? He grew up on Long Island, but he worked in Midtown, an architect who ran a company called RH Consultants and Associates.
How you doing? Good to see you.
YouTuber Antoine Amira, who runs a page called Bonjour Realty, interviewed Heuerman about his work a year ago.
What has this job taught you about yourself?
I think it's taught me more about how to understand people.
Really what stood out is his attention to details. He was very knowledgeable, very detail-oriented.
Amira told us Heuerman had a distinct physical presence.
Intimidating, no. Imposing, yes, very, very imposing. He is a head above me, a very large person. I still remember his handshake when we met. Very strong.
We can tell you right now that police and investigators have been here for perhaps about 18 hours. How long will they be here? Well, we're told as long as it takes to gather as much evidence as possible. We're live in Massapequa Park. Dick Brennan, CBS 2 News.
Dick, thank you. And for more than a decade, these families of the women killed have been waiting for an arrest. CBS 2's Naveen Dhaliwal spoke to two relatives who remember their loved ones.
For the family of Megan Waterman, the arrest in her murder was bittersweet.
Anger and relief. It's starting all over again. She was a vulnerable, naive, drug addict girl who was very easily influenced by this monster of a man.
Detectives say Waterman, along with Melissa Barthelemy and Amber Costello, were all sex workers who were murdered at Gilgo Beach back in 2010, a case that baffled investigators and the public.
He does not look capable of what he did. I was honestly very shocked because 13 years is far too long.
For Amber Costello's aunt, time did not heal the wounds.
She was a very sweet, loving, giving, young woman. She just, went down the wrong road.
Bonnie Sassy spoke to us over the phone from North Carolina. She remembers her 27-year-old niece's radiant smile and shares her reaction to the arrest.
I'm elated. God knows what else he's done.
Day after day, the families waited while the investigators never gave up.
Yeah, job well done. All of the family members of these poor victims, we never thought we'd see this day. So I'm rejoicing. I know they are too.
In Gilgo Beach, Naveen Dhaliwal, CBS 2 News.
There are other families waiting for justice, and they're also speaking out. 20-year-old Jessica Taylor disappeared from Manhattan in 2003. Her skeletal remains were found in a wooded area in Manorville, and additional remains were discovered in 2011 along Ocean Parkway during the search for another missing woman. Today's arrest brought her family some hope.
I'm grateful for the hard work that's been done. I'm grateful that today is happening, and I'm hopeful for the future.
We're happy that the police are finally taking a positive step in this respect, but this is just the beginning.
Taylor's family says they're optimistic that Heuerman will be linked to her murder. As you have heard, this story has been making headlines for over a decade, and CBS 2 was there covering it from the very beginning. You can find all of that coverage on our website. Also there, today's full indictment. Find it all at cbsnewyork.com. Still ahead,